This is Full Count, the show for baseball fans by baseball fans that takes the extra base and delivers a save each and every week. Presented by Dinger Bats and DingerBats.com. Now here are your hosts, the round mound of sound, Keith Gibson, and owner of Dinger Bats, Kyle Drone.
Play ball! Welcome, everybody, to the final edition of the first half of the baseball season of Full Count here on Saturday morning at DingerBats.com and on 103.5 ESPN Radio. I am Keith Gibson. Alongside me, my tag team partner and co-host, Kyle Drone. We're going to dive deep in today. We're going to talk a lot about the first half, the All-Star break coming up. And Kyle Drone, we've got a lot of things to cover on this final edition before the break.
Oh, yeah, we got an exciting first half of baseball about to conclude, and looking forward to the second half.
Me too. We got to always talk about the All-Star Game, and we'll get into that. We'll talk about the Home Run Derby, and we're going to take our pick and pick our winner of the Home Run Derby, and I think I can guarantee you we do not agree on that one, but we'll get to that here in just a few minutes.
Interesting.
And then later on the show, you'll want to stay tuned. We're going to talk about 10 years of greatness from Mike Trout. This week, 10 years ago, Mike Trout made his debut, and so we'll talk about how special of a player Mike Trout is, and he'll be returning soon to an Angels team that's suddenly finds themselves in a playoff hunt. We'll also dive into Sonny Gray and his wardrobe change that he had this week, and of course we'll talk about Shohei, and he's everybody's MVP right now, but he also passed Hideki Matsui for most home runs by a Japanese player, and we'll dive into that one and talk about how special he is. Later on the show, we'll talk about the AL and NL Wildcard standings and overview. We'll go over that and who's got a shot to make the playoffs. And are they buying and selling at the deadline? What do they need to do to make that push in both leagues? And then we'll talk about the All-Star rosters and reserves. And then we'll give our first half awards out. MVP, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year for the first half. But Kyle Drone, are you still staying busy? Are you still working late nights? Are you still keeping Dinger Bats flowing?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're busy. It's been unbelievably good of late, and we're blessed, and just a lot of bats to keep up with. But we're getting them out.
That's what we like to hear. I always love it when I hear bats in the woods flying. On my end, I've got a 4-month-old now who doesn't like to sleep at night.
Uh-oh.
And a 5-year-old who knows everything. So let's keep me busy as well.
Right. Yeah.
But you know how
I got one
goes.
of those.
Yeah. You know how that goes, without a doubt. So, but hey, let's dive in. We got a busy day today. We're going to talk a lot. We're going to start by going around the horn and talk All-Star Home Run Derby. I know you've had some memorable home run derbies. What's one of your favorites?
Oh, well, I mean, Schwarber in Washington against Harper, where Harper got a little hometown loving on that by quick pitching, but either way, it was a great show, and Schwarber actually hit more home runs than he did the entire event, and Dad and I were able to get there and attend. So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
One of my favorites is Josh Hamilton at Old Yankee Stadium. It's something that was just a show. Which was pretty cool. I remember being in Reno, Nevada, watching Bobby Abreu win it back. I think that was, that's gonna make me my age. I think 99, somewhere like that, maybe 09, something I don't remember, but somewhere in there. I remember watching that, and so it's kind of neat sitting in a sports bar and watching the home run derby as well with a bunch of baseball fans. It's always more fun. But yeah,
especially with the new format. The new format has completely changed my view on the home run derby. I never really, I always thought it was impressive to, see the display, but, the timed, the pressure moments and things like that. And now there's a little bit of strategy involved with it. So, yeah, I think it's one of the more exciting things in sports now.
It is. I agree with you. I love the new format. But let's talk about the first round. First round matchups. They seed this now, which I like as well. So your number 1 seed is Shohei Ohtani of the Angels. He'll take on the number 8 seed Juan Soto of the Nationals, the youngster, the 22-year-old. Then you'll have Salvador Perez, the number 4 seed, taking on the number 5 seed Pete Alonso, the defending champ, number 5 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they just seed it by how many home runs you have this year. So the seeding isn't very well thought out, I don't think.
Then you have on the other side of the bracket, you've got Joey Gallo, the Rangers, big power hitter, big strikeout guy. And then the hometown.
Not in BP.
That's right, yeah. And then the hometown guy, he'll face number 7 seed Trevor Story. Trevor, may not be in Colorado much longer, so Rockies fans may want to enjoy him in Colorado while they can.
Right.
And then you got Oakland A's, Matt Olson, strong, powerful, number 3 seed. And then one of my favorite guys I love seeing in this, Trey Mancini, the number 6 seed. Mancini's overcame so much, Kyle, that
right.
It's fun to see him being able to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be exciting.
And represent an Orioles team who give them another 8 to 12 years, they might be good.
Yeah, we hope.
Let's talk. Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto. I know you're big on Soto, and I know this
is tough. This one's tough because I think it might be, first of all, I'm going Ohtani the whole way just because I think it'll cap off this amazing first half for him. But the one that scares me really is Juan Soto because the kid has got some unbelievable power. He's a little off this year, but he could cause him some trouble. So, but I'm still going to go Ohtani.
I'm actually going to take Soto in this, and here's why. I think he will find a groove. He may be a little off at the plate, but I think you get him in a setting like this, he will find a groove and could roll off 8 to 10 home runs in a row. And
very well could.
And yeah. I think you're right. And I think Ohtani's just going to be – I think he's going to be careful. I think he wants to hit home runs. But I think he also is smart enough as a player to know, hey, I've got bigger fish to fry here too. So he may not put his full effort into the home run derby.
Man, it's hard to get out there and not go all out, man. Especially young dude, and the crowd's going to go nuts. And I mean, he's got to trust that he's in shape and things are going to work out. You can't go up there and be worried about an injury. If you're committed to it, I think you got to go, and I think he's going. I think he wins it.
So you're saying that how many do you think I could get out? I'm in shape. Round is a shape.
At the Florida Little League.
Oh, maybe 2. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough stadium.
I'll let you hit from the mound.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. No, I like that. I think that'll be probably one of the better first-round matchups in the home run derby will be Soto and Ohtani.
Yeah,
it could come down to timing. So let's move on to the next one. Salvador Perez, Pete Alonso. I'm going to take Alonso in this one just because I love Salvi. I love everything he stands for behind the plate and does everything. But Salvi, I mean, I know he's got 20 home runs this year, but does he really belong in a home run derby?
I mean, I was a little surprised too when I looked up his stats when they said he was going to be in, but I think whether he is successful in it or not, he's a fun guy, and I think he's going to bring a little something to, a little comedy relief to the whole process, and he's got just as good a chance as anybody going on a groove. But I agree with you. I think Pete Alonso is, the defending champ is he's gonna handle Perez pretty easy.
All right, let's go. So we got Ohtani. You like Ohtani, I like Soto, and we both like Alonso there to move on to the semis. All right, let's move over to the other side. Joey Gallo, Trevor Story. Do you like hometown or do you like Big Thumper?
Man, I like hometown just because the crowd's going to be behind him. Gallo's going to hit some long ones. I mean, they're going to be impressive, but I think Trevor's going to hit more, and he's going to have the crowd behind him, and he's got that quick, compact swing. And you don't have to, you get a little extra in Colorado. So I think he's going to kind of remind me of Bregman when he was in it against Schwarber. Bregman almost knocked Schwarber off, actually, but he was only 1 or 2 off, and that scared the crap out of me. But he just has that consistent, quick, down the line swing, and Trevor's got more pop than Bregman, but I think he's just going to hit a lot more than Gallo does.
I'm gonna go opposite of you here. I like Gallo in this, but only by a slim margin. I think this one's a pretty close one as well in the first round. I like Gallo just because I think if it's all about finding the groove in a home run derby. You and I both know that. If you can
for sure.
If you can find that groove, you're gonna knock off a few in a row. And I think Story's there, but I just don't see him being able to put up the numbers Gallo does. So we'll just. I
think Gallo will tire out. He takes such a big hit.
That's true. That's a good point. We'll have to watch. Finally, in the first round, Matt Olson, Trey Mancini. Man, I gotta go with the comeback player of the year on this one. Trey Mancini. I'm all in on Mancini.
Yeah, man, I love Olson, and he's a tremendous player. Got a lot of power, beautiful swing. But yeah, I'm gonna go Mancini just as a as a fan. I don't really know who would win or who's going to win until we see it, but I'm gonna pull for Mancini.
You and me both. I like the underdog in that one. I'm gonna go with Mancini. So we got Mancini against either Gallo or Story. Take your pick there. We both like one or the other. Who are you taking on that side of the bracket to move into the finals?
Yeah, I'm taking hometown. Story's going to continue on to the finals just on the hometown buzz and the crowd, and he's going to get in the groove. So that's who I got.
I like Mancini coming out of there. I'm taking him straight to the finals, Daddy-O.
Yep.
On the other side, do you like Alonso or Ohtani?
I'm going Ohtani. Ohtani, I picked him to go all the way. So
I'm going to take Alonso in that. I'm going to have Alonso versus Mancini. All East Coast for me. And I'm going to go Pete Alonso back-to-back.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
yep.
may the best man win.
I think it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be It's an interesting 8 guys because you only have really. I'm looking at this. Besides Alonso and Gallo, there's really no big thumpers. I mean, Olsen's he can hit the ball, but he's not a
look
long
at the stadium
guy.
he plays. Look at
Right.
the stadium he plays in. Every home run he hits has to be long. So can you imagine him playing in a more of a Colorado or? I don't know how the new Texas Stadium was, but the old one was a bandbox. I mean, it was, upper deck all day.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's Olsen's got some thump. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be exciting, and I think that's why the new format is so nice that you can still get excited about the guys that don't thump. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. Agreed.
Like Bregman was only hitting 10 rows deep that whole time, but man, he was rattling off 19 of them, and that was exciting opposed to, Josh Hamilton hitting it out of the stadium,
right,
which is amazing as well. But it kind of, it evens it up because, he just got to hit till he made an out. If he had a time limit, he might have tired out taking those big swings.
You're exactly right. And that's why, and I agree with you. I think, what else I think would be fun? Why can't they do a pitcher's one? A pitcher's home run derby.
Now you're talking injury. And that's
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
I think it would be fun, or maybe some kind of fungo skills challenge or something like that. Because pitchers always, at least growing up, always hit fungos and play fungo golf and all that stuff. So yeah, I think there would be something interesting there, but it'd have to be very, very low impact because that's just too much of a risk.
You're right. It is a huge risk. But I still think it'd be fun. Get guys like Bumgarner. Who else? Kershaw. I mean, you're talking.
Well, DeGrom can swing it.
DeGrom can swing the bat. Syndergaard can swing when he's healthy. A guy like he plays in Cincinnati. Lorenzen, Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy who can swing the bat too. So I think guys like that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Didn't Max Fried from the Atlanta come walk it off as a pinch hitter the other night?
Yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun. Would you like to see some sort of skills competition as part of the All-Star break?
I mean, I think it'd be a novelty type thing. I mean, I don't know. I think I'd watch it once or twice. It just depends on how it would play out and how how entertaining it was. But yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be up for it once or twice to see how it goes.
Maybe if you can hit your cutoff man and just do, fundamental things that nobody really does anymore.
Yeah, not so much.
Not so much? Okay.
No.
All right,
supposed to hit the cutoff.
The All-Star Home Run Derby will be this coming up week. We look forward to that. And that you're taking Ohtani, I'm taking Alonso, so we'll have to see if either one of us are right. Probably neither of us will be. It'll probably be probably Salvador Perez. But, it'll be fun. It always is a good time to stay up and watch. But, hey, let's take a quick break. We will come back, and we will talk about Mike Trout and his greatness over the last 10 years. We'll also talk about Sonny Gray's wardrobe change and tell you the details of that. And we'll also talk about Shohei Ohtani and his big first half, but it gets even bigger as a Japanese-born player. So we'll come right back here on Full Count at DingerBats.com and on 103.5 ESPN Radio.
Today's episode of Full Count is brought to you by Ford of Tuscola.
Check out the all-new Ford of Tuscola. It's a small-town feel with great big deals. Pre-owned vehicles starting at $24.95. online at fordoftuscola.com or call 217-253-3353.
Welcome back into Full Count. Keith Gibson, Kyle Drone with you here on this Saturday morning. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, if you missed any part of our show or any past shows, you can download them at dingerbats.com. You can also go to Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, anywhere that you can download podcast. You can listen to us right there and download it. And don't forget, you can also pick up T-shirts and hats and all kinds of gear at dingerbats.com. Order a new trophy bat, order a new specialty bat if you've got a youngster playing in a wooden bat tournament somewhere. Go right to Dinger Bats and customize a bat for him. Keep Kyle Drone busy all year long because you're not busy enough.
Bring it on. We'll take it.
Hey, but also, hey, if you know somebody or if you want to host a wooden bat tournament, let us know. Contact us via the dingerbats.com page, and we'd be happy to help you and set you up with that as well. So looking forward. Always like to plan things for next summer, don't we, Kyle?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move in to talk about the greatness of Mike Trout. 10 years now in the league this week, and Trout has put up some impressive numbers. He's probably the greatest player in the last 10 years, I would say, hands down. And he's
hands down.
Coming back for the second half. What's impressed you the most about Mike Trout?
I mean, just his consistency and his work ethic. I know he's had some injuries from time to time, but his numbers year in and year out. I mean, I think he's been in the top 5 of MVP voting every year of his career, maybe every year except one, possibly his rookie year. So, I mean, that in itself is just amazing. And there's been so many great players that have had great seasons, but I don't know if anybody outside of possibly Willie Mays has had that many top 5 finishes.
Yeah, it's been impressive, without a doubt. A 3-time AL MVP. 3-time, that's it. And you got to think he's finished in the top 5 every year. And even he won, the MVP 2 years ago and didn't play the final 30 games of the season?
Yes.
So that tells you what kind of numbers he has. And I was just kind of looking some things up, too. He's a 9-time All-Star, 10 now this year, 8-time Silver Slugger Award, 3-time AL MVP, and 1 Rookie of the Year in 2012. So the numbers speak for itself on what kind of guy. The only thing I feel bad about, and I think you hit it on the head when you said his consistency is what impresses you the most, and it's right there with me. Back at the beginning of the season, we talked about him a lot, and he said in an interview that he wasn't happy with the way his season went last year. And still put up great numbers.
Yeah.
But he's fixed his swing and wanted to improve. That tells you what kind of work ethic the guy has.
Right, yeah, he's never settled. He's the great ones always want to get better and never stop working, and he is that he's the epitome of that. So yeah, it's impressive. If any young kids, and there's a lot of great role models out there, but if he would be one to model your life, your athletic life, your personal life, whatever, just his drive and perseverance and everything. He would be who I would suggest.
A 3-sport athlete in high school as well. Just going to throw that out there. He's a 3-sport athlete in high school, so he not only played baseball, played football, played basketball. The guy is athletic with crazy, but he's also smart. He knows he plays the game fundamentally sound. He gives up himself in at bat sometimes just to produce runs. A guy that has still never been to the playoffs, ever. And will that
Ever?
though?
I thought he made one. I thought he made one, but they were out early.
Maybe that was okay. Maybe one. Okay, but not as many as he should be in.
No. I mean, it's a shame. It's not for lack of trying. The Angels they brought in some players over the years and manager and it's just not. They've just not been able to put it together.
Yeah, exactly. And this year they could be, with him out, they've still managed to tread water, and they're still in that hunt. And we'll get to that here in a little bit later and talk about our wild card standings. But that's I'm hoping he comes back here in the second half and just is the Mike Trout that we all know. Because you put him with Shohei in that lineup, and put some guys around him like the Jared Walshes, the Anthony Rendon who just went on the IL.
Yeah.
Right. You've got some things around him now that could help. My worry is will they go out and get pitching? Because they need some.
I mean, I don't think they're afraid to spend money, as
No.
you've seen. So if they're in the hunt and they think they can do it, they're going to do everything they can to get some help for him, especially with the Ohtani show going on. That kind of rejuvenates the entire organization, I think, because all they were excited about before was just Trout.
Right. And you've got more to be excited about if you're an Angels fan. And attendance is up out in Anaheim. By the way, one of the best ballparks I've been to. I enjoyed going out there. I've got to see a game out in Anaheim. Just the backdrop itself is worth going to watch a ball game in Anaheim.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've been there as well. I've not watched a game, but one year the winter meetings were out there, and they had a banquet there, so we got to go up in the owner's box and take a tour of the stadium and stuff. It was pretty nice. That was actually the year after they won the World Series.
Well, I bet it was nice then. A little more hoopla around there by then.
Yeah.
All right, so after we talked to Mike Trout, let's talk about Sonny Gray, a guy who may not get, was great in Oakland, pitching well in Cincinnati, but a guy who decided to have a wardrobe change mid-start last week, said he just didn't feel right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard this story, Sonny Gray went down to the locker room, stripped buck naked down except for all of his cleats, and changed everything he had on because he just didn't feel like something was right.
He had to take his cleats off, man. You know how hard it is to put pants on with cleats on?
I do. Yes, I do. I do. It's hard, especially when you got a belly. But he doesn't have a belly. Anyway, but he changed his entire uniform, top to bottom, and then came back out to pitch and retire the next 9 batters. Kyle Drone, I have never heard of a guy doing this, but he said he needed a reset. I mean,
yeah.
If that works,
catcher,
maybe more guys need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, pitchers are different animals anyway. I've seen a lot. I've never heard of that. Of course, I didn't play at the pro level and didn't have the ability to run back to the clubhouse. So, but there's been a lot of kooky things pitchers have done. So it doesn't surprise me completely, but it is it's another first for me. I've never heard of it.
Me neither. I've heard of guys changing jerseys or something to get a clean jersey middle game. As a catcher, as you and I both were catchers, you a lot better than I was by far because I had to move from behind with the plate to third. I just couldn't squat well. But anyway, different story. But pitchers are some of the most superstitious players in baseball. But to this, when I heard this, I was like, well, I mean, whatever works for you. I mean, if something doesn't feel right,
for sure,
you got to change it. So apparently it worked.
Yeah, and it came out. I mean, I wonder, did he divulge that information after the start, after he set down 9? He probably doesn't share that information if he goes out and gets rocked and knocked out the next inning and a half. So
right, exactly.
It's a cool story, and maybe something was just a little tight in the shoulders or something, and he wasn't feeling free enough to throw the ball how he wanted to.
Well,
so
it's funny you say that because Thursday he was put on the IL with a gut strain. So something must have been a little tight. But anyway, that's definitely a first for me, but a fun story, and that's why it's we love baseball, because it's always something new every week. Record broken this week, ladies and gentlemen. Shohei Ohtani does it again. Imagine that. We are, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not appreciating as a baseball fan what Shohei Ohtani has done in the first half of the season, pay attention. I mean, he's got guys from every other professional sport singing his praise because of what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just if you're a sports fan, you got to be paying attention. Even if you're soccer all your life or hockey all your life and you don't even like the other sports, you've got to appreciate what's going on right here. Right,
because we have not seen this in Major League Baseball since Babe Ruth. And he's putting up better numbers than Ruth did, which is scary. But this week, he passed Hideki Matsui for most home runs in a season by a Japanese-born player. Hideki Matsui hit 31 for the Yankees in a season. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the All-Star break, and Shohei Ohtani has 32. He's broken that record already. Kyle Drone, what can this guy not do?
It appears to be nothing right now. He's in the zone. He's hitting 98-mile-an-hour fastballs in at his chest and turning them, 10 rows deep in the bleachers, and taking the mound and throwing 100 miles an hour. I mean, it's fun to watch. I wonder how long he can keep it up, but I hope he can for the next 4 or 5 years and put on a show. So
I watched him the other night throw a 97-mile-an-hour chest-high fastball, and then the very next pitch throw a 68-mile-an-hour curveball that just froze the hitter. I mean, you're talking about 30-mile-an-hour difference, and he's got that kind of talent to do that, and then turn around and hit at the plate and hit a 450-foot bomb.
Yeah,
or do the little things and just get a base hit.
Right. Yeah, I'm still excited to see if they let him throw in the All-Star game.
Well, they said he will pitch and hit in the All-Star game.
He will. Okay.
Yes.
I did not see that.
So I'm excited to see that as well. I think he will get a huge ovation in Colorado. And what sucks is really that a lot of people on the Midwest and the East Coast don't get to see much of him besides highlights, because he plays on the West Coast, and it's so late in the day when, unless you're a night owl like you who stay up till midnight. But
right.
I'm in bed way before that.
If I could be, I would.
I know, me too, but that doesn't work anymore at my age. So, yeah, it's amazing. I'm excited to see what the second half does. I'm excited to see him in the All-Star festivities, and I don't know if he can keep breaking the ceiling like he is, but he just keeps doing it over and over and over again. As long as he stays healthy, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in nightly, because it's something new with Shohei Ohtani. And by the way, I read a story this week that, when he came on to the major leagues, there's a lot of people said he wouldn't hit major league pitching.
Right.
Well, they were wrong. They were dead wrong. So it just shows you sometimes scouts don't know everything. But
what's have you by chance? What's his contract situation? How long is he locked in?
I think it's only 3 or 4 years. It's not very long
he's going to get paid.
Well, we've talked about this. Is he going to get paid double? Is he going to be able to rake in as a pitcher and a hitter? Do you know what I'm saying? But I mean,
I think the only thing holding him back is that a little bit, because there's not every team out there is going to have that open philosophy that the Angels have with it, and hopefully the Angels pay him what he's due, but it may lower the amount that he could get on the free market if he doesn't choose to just be a one-sided player.
Right, I don't think he will. I don't. It'd be interesting to bring our scouts back, or our guys, the agents back, and talk to those guys,
right?
And just kind of see how they would set the market for him as well, because I'd be interested to talk to them about that. Maybe we can set that up here.
For sure,
sometime here in the second half. But let's take a break. We're going to come back. We'll talk AL and NL Wildcard standings, the overview. Who's got to make a move? Who's in the hunt? And who might as well just stick the fork in it like the Cubs? All right. We'll be right back here on Full Count after these messages.
Kester Homes is your full-service real estate team. They work all of Champaign County and a full 60-mile radius around. What really sets Kyle, Tiffany, and their team apart is they work with home buyers, home sellers, and build new construction homes. So they really are seeing all angles of the real estate industry, from existing homes, investment properties, and new construction. Contact Kester Homes at 217-390-5953 or visit online at kesterhomes.com. That's KOESTER homes.com. Kester Homes is a licensed real estate broker with the Keller Williams, the Real Estate Center of Illinois.
Back here to talk AL and NL wildcard standings on Full Count. Keith Gibson, Kyle Drone with you on Saturday morning. Hope you've had your cup of coffee and enjoying the show. Remember to share the show with your friends and help us grow. If you know baseball fans out there and they need to hear us, so why don't you tell them about us and help us grow. But Kyle Drone, we're going to talk. We've talked All-Stars, Home Run Derby. We've talked Shohei. We've talked, the greatness of Mike Trout. Now let's get into team-wise. Let's talk a little team analysis here. Leading the league, and let's start with the National League. We'll start there, and we'll talk Mets, Brewers, and Giants all leading their respective divisions.
Yeah.
Dodgers and Padres leading the wild card. Then you've got some teams that only one's over 500 behind that in the National League, which is Cincinnati, which is 4 games over.
Yep.
And sitting 6 back of a wild card spot.
Yep.
Then you got the Cubs, who dropped 11 of 12 here recently. I mean, how do you go from first place to dropping 11 in a row? I mean, come on. I mean, it's one of the worst swoons I've seen the Cubs have, and it's past June. But anyway, you know, I won't get started this week on that. But you got Washington right there too, who took a hit, which Schwarber went out after a humongous June. The Cardinals right there, they're 9 out of the wild card. So when you look at the NL wild card standings and teams that have a shot still, do you really see anybody besides the Dodgers and Padres?
Not at this point. I think you know, I don't expect San Fran to continue the pace that they're on. I also don't expect Milwaukee to continue the pace that they're on. Although they're a good club, there's going to be a lot of meetings with central rivals, and it's going to be, you know, decided there. You know, but I do think the Cardinals need to be looking at trying to win a division and not wait for hope they get in on the wild card.
Well, I agree with you there, and I think if it's anybody, I think we are in agreement that the NL Central will not have a wild card team. In my eyes,
don't think so.
You're either going to have to win the division or you're not going to be in the playoffs, period.
Yep, I agree.
And the East, I think, is the same way. You know, you've got the Mets, the Phillies.
Well, you know,
right
it also depends on how much of a decline San Fran has. You know, I mean, the way they're playing right now is just way above what, you know, their talent level is, I think. But if they continue, you know, I'll be surprised. But if they drop out, then, you know, there's still a chance to get a wild card, but I wouldn't count on it.
I'm not sure how much of a decline they will have in the second half. I really don't. I really think San Francisco is found something that, as long as they stay healthy,
deal, huh?
Yeah, I think so. And it just all depends on their pitching. But they're going to have to keep playing at that level because the Dodgers and Padres are just going to get better. And I think both teams make a move at the deadline to improve and try to win that division.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
In the East, you know, the Phillies got hot there for a little while. Of course, they played the Cubs, and everybody who plays the Cubs got hot and put up some runs. Washington's, it was right there on the cusp, too. I mean, you look at the Mets, they're only 45 and 38, 7 games over 500, you know, as we do this. The Phillies are right there, too. They're in 2 games below 500. The Nats are a game below 500. To me, there's 3 teams coming out of that West in the NL. I don't think there's much debate of where teams are going to come out of.
No, I would agree with you there. But it's still going to be a tight race in the East. I don't think the Mets hang on. I think it comes down to Washington and Atlanta, maybe Philly. I mean, they're in a tight race right there. They're all a half game apart.
Right. Yeah, agree. Hey, good news, though, is Shelty's not in dead last as far as win percentage or wins in the National League. That award goes to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched Arizona or saw them much, it's probably because there aren't many highlights because they're awful. They're 15 and 27 at home, which is a beautiful ballpark, too. I've been there as well.
Yep,
really like that
seen
one.
a game there.
Yep. But here's a telling stat of why they aren't winning. They're 10 and 36 on the road, Kyle Drone. 10 and 36.
Yeah. It's horrendous.
That's awful. I mean, they did lose 23 in a row on the road.
Hey, it's great. It's great for a home team ticket. If the Diamondbacks are coming to town, go watch your team win.
That's right.
Except maybe the Cubs.
Well, that's true too. That's a true statement. But the Pirates 32 and 54, you know, so not a great, but they got to keep Brian Hayes back. So hopefully those guys continue to improve. I'm just afraid that here at the deadline, you're going to see guys like Adam Frazier, maybe Reynolds be traded off, Polanco. You're going to see them kind of get rid of some guys who maybe they won't be there in 3 to 4 years because of the rebuild, and they can get something for them and build that way. So Shelty's got his hands full.
But I mean, obviously, Key Bryant's not going anywhere. I'd like to see them keep Frazier just because of the kind of player and character guy he is. I think, you know, we talked about Polanco just needs a change of venue. You know, he needs to, you know, kind of get regenerized. He's a tremendous player, great guy, but I just think he just needs a new look.
Agree with you 100% on that one. All right, let's move to the American League here. You got the Red Sox, who I think are surprising everybody and leading that AL East race. The White Sox now with an 8-game lead in the Central, kind of running away with it here at the break. And the Astros now with a 4.5-game lead over Oakland in the West. Good news is the Tampa Bay Rays are your top wild card team, and Oakland right there with them. Then you look down, you got Toronto, the Jays, Seattle, and the Angels all sitting within that 5 to 6 game range in the wild card. Which one of those 4 teams needs to make the best move? I won't say the most moves, but the best move to catapult themselves into a wild card spot.
Well, I think the Angels are going to be the ones to make the best move to get them there. I think Toronto's pretty set. I mean, they could add a piece. The Yankees may go out and try to buy something, but I don't. I think their struggles are their core. They can't keep everybody on the field consistent all the time, and that's going to be a struggle. And I really don't know much about Seattle.
Who does? I mean, they're young. I'm surprised they're where they're at. To be honest with you, but we'll see.
You picked them as a sleeper.
I did, but I don't know why. I really don't. But they're right there. They're doing what I thought they would do, but I don't know why. But no, I think you're right on the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays have the core is there. They may make one small move, maybe some bullpen help. A guy like I'm just going to say this guy like Craig Kimbrell from the Cubs, a closer, could be somebody they look big time at to close out ball games. But I do agree with you. I think the Angels getting Trout back here for the second half, they're going to be aggressive at the deadline and try to get a piece somewhere to bolster that lineup or bolster that staff. And Oakland, I look at Oakland like, what do you do? Do you go after a guy like Chris Bryant? Do you go after a guy like Trevor Story? Do you spend the money to do it? Or do you stay small market and hope and pray again, like you do every year, and then fall out of contention?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where they stay. That's kind of, their MO. So I don't see them going out. I would be surprised, but unless they can work a deal to where whoever they got paid most of the salary.
Of the 3 teams leading the divisions right now, the Red Sox, White Sox, and Astros, I did see Eloy Jimenez is starting a rehab assignment for the White Sox. So with 30 days or so, as long as there's no setbacks, he'll be back in the lineup, which is big for them because they've got some big. Grandal just went out, Madrigal's out. I mean, they have nothing left. I mean, they're filling the tank with Billy Hamilton in center field right now, who had an amazing catch, by the way. And if you join our Facebook group, you can see that catch. It was a catch of the year candidate without a doubt. So of those 3 teams, who makes the most moves at the deadline?
Looks like the White Sox are going to be the ones that have to, if it continues going the way they're going with the injuries. But I'll have to stick with them.
They were my pick to win the World Series, and they're doing exactly what I thought they would. I didn't think they'd be 8 games up at the break. I do know why on this one, but I don't know how, because with all the injuries they've had with Roberts, they're still 8 games up, which tells you how bad that AL Central division really is.
Well, it doesn't seem as bad. I mean, they got 3 teams at 500. I mean, so
Cleveland's at 500.
Yeah,
the White Sox are at 500, and that's it.
Yeah.
Kansas City's 14 games under. Detroit, surprisingly, is only 7 games under 500.
Right.
And then the surprising Twins are 15 games under 500.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
So here's my question on that: do the Twins? And I read I don't remember where it was in the Athletic or where I read it at. Are the Twins a team that could possibly dictate the trade deadline market? You think about this. They got Kyle Gibson. They've got Nelson Cruz. They've got Josh Donaldson. They've got a lot of pieces that they could move to help bolster clubs. Are they the ones that may dictate this trade deadline?
Yeah, very well could be. I don't know if they're ready to get rid of some of their younger guys like Kepler or Sano, but those are some big bats. But they have a lot of pieces, and they're obviously not going to, be in contention this year. So
it'll be interesting to see what that does. But all right, Kyle Drone. Well, there's your wild card standings at the break. It'll be interesting to see where the National League, man. You get some really good teams, and then you have some really, really just mediocre teams. There's a lot of mediocrity in the National League.
Right.
And the American League, I think, is going to be a little tougher to win that division. I think, the Red Sox may stay hot. I think the White Sox win that division easily, and the Astros, we'll see what they can do too. But We'll take a quick break. We'll come back here on Full Count, and we'll talk about our all-star rosters and reserves for this year, get you all set up for the All-Star Game from Colorado and Coors Field, and we'll talk about our awards for the first half. Who's our MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Cy Young right here on Full Count. We'll be back with you in just a moment here at DingerBats.com and on 103.5 ESPN Radio.
Today's episode of Full Count is brought to you by Bosco's Biscuits and Booze. If you need the taste of Southern Illinois, then visit the all-new Bosco's Biscuits and Booze, home of the world champion daily special. 2 large, all-natural, juicy white meat chicken breast, a side of the famous What the Hell biscuits, and a bucket of the cheapest beer in stock for only $6.99. Located at the corner of Old Milwaukee Boulevard, next to the Primo Hooer Hotel. Bosco's Biscuits and Booze. It's world champion food and cheap-ass booze.
It's the end of the first half of the baseball season, and we're going to talk All-Stars to get you ready for Tuesday night's big game from Coors Field. And Kyle Jerome, Keith Gibson here with you. And Kyle, not a whole lot of surprises in the All-Star rosters and starters and reserves, maybe a little bit. Let's start with some snubs. Who didn't make the team that you thought probably should have?
Well, I mean, we talked a little bit, National League about Yachty, of course. I kind of felt like, he deserved it with the year he's having. He's kind of fallen off there for a little bit, but he started off really hot. I can't really think of any other because I'm looking at the list and I see so many that absolutely deserve it at both National and American League. Who you got?
Javi. I mean, yeah, Javi strikes out a lot, but Javi's put up some big numbers in the first half, and I really thought he would be an all-star, but not, and he's not on a reserve, and I'm not sure why, but I think, just maybe that's a hometown call too, but I think as I look at numbers, I think I agree with you, by the way, on Molina. I think Molina should be at least a reserve on this team.
Right.
But I think Javi should have been an all-star as well. But you look at, Chris Taylor to me is not an all-star from the Dodgers. That's just my own personal opinion. I don't think Chris Taylor, he's one of the reserve outfielders from the National League. I don't think he's an all-star.
But if you're going by if you're going by so many positions, that's kind of where Javi got left out because for sure Crawford, could have been a starter, let alone, be the backup, or the reserve. So if they're going strictly by that, that's what left Javi off the list. Because I agree with you, but look who's making the pick, Dave Roberts. That's the benefit of him,
correct,
going to the World Series. So he's going to pick his guys. And that's, I'm okay with that too. But yeah, that's, if they go with strict, positions like was Javi. I mean, Javi obviously couldn't be eligible as an outfielder.
Right. Well, you got Trey Turner, Crawford, and Tatis at shortstop for the National League. I think all three deserve. I have no qualms against all three of those guys whatsoever. Great first half from all three of them, especially Tatis and Crawford. You're right. Probably one of the most underrated shortstops in all of baseball, period.
Crawford, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So let's talk starting pitchers, National League here. I really have nobody on here. You got Corbin Burns, Darvish, DeGrom, who said he's not going to pitch in the All-Star game, and we'll get to that in just a second. Gosman, Germán Marquez from Colorado, so the hometown guy. Trevor Rogers, the youngster from Miami. Zach Wheeler, who's had a good year, and Brandon Woodruff from Milwaukee. So DeGrom comes out and says he's not pitching the All-Star game. Are you okay with that?
I mean, it's his choice. I would like to see him come out here and do something similar to Pedro back in the day where he came up and struck out the first three guys. But he doesn't feel like he wants to or needs to. And, maybe he's more focused on the season. I mean, they're in first. So I'm okay with it because, I can understand if that's the reason. But have you heard a reason other than?
No, I think it's just because he doesn't want to put any more stress on his arm, and I'm okay with that as well. But my thought is, okay, if you don't want to pitch, take your name off. If you are for sure don't want to pitch, just have your name taken off the ballot. I don't even be able
Yeah,
to be
but
elected.
do they not do that replace later?
Yes, they do,
I thought
because
they did.
if you pitch any of this weekend, you won't be eligible. You won't be able to pitch, and they'll replace you. So if you're pitching this
Right,
weekend,
so-
there could be a couple guys on here who's going to be replaced. But
Right, but even
here's-
him just saying he's not going to pitch, won't they replace him? Fill that
Yeah.
spot as well.
yep, they will. He'll still be an all-star, but they'll replace him. So
Yeah.
You said you had some guys in the American League you looked at that probably should have made it that didn't. Who were you kind of thinking there?
Shoot. Give me yours first. I'm drawing a blank. Sorry.
I don't have many. The guys that I thought should make it actually made it. Adolis Garcia from Texas had a great first half. I think deserves to be an all-star. We talked last week. You did about Cedric Mullins in Baltimore.
Yeah,
He's on there as a
definitely
reserve.
glad to see him on there.
And then we joked in between here at the break before we came back on air. You said, "Is Nelson Cruz the oldest All-Star ever?" And you know what? I have to look that up. Well, you don't have a stat guy with us right now, but that might be true.
Right?
He's what, 64?
He's pushing it. He's been around a long time.
Were there any surprises for you as far as elected starters? I know there was one for me for the AL, and that was Teoscar Hernandez from Toronto. That kind of surprised me a little bit because I thought either Garcia, Mullins, or somebody, even Shohei, would be a starter. And Shohei he's the DH, but still,
Right.
he didn't come off to me as Hernandez as an all-star starter.
Well, I mean, you got 3 Blue Jays, so they had tremendous voter turnout, and obviously, it's the fan vote at that level. So, I've always, been conflicted, by a lot of. There's been a lot of times where, look at Trout. He's been out quite a bit this year,
Right.
and not saying he doesn't deserve it, but is he got the numbers that some other, player, may have. But everybody wants to see Trout. That's why they voted for him, and apparently everybody wants to see Hernandez. So I'm good with it. The starters, there's always going to be guys that get snubbed just because they don't have the voter turnout. I'm really surprised that more Yankees and Cubs voters came out, but maybe they realized that that wouldn't be fair or something. I don't know.
Well, Chris Bryant was leading for a long time the National League at third base, and then he dropped to third actually in the voting.
Yeah.
So Eduardo Escobar jumped ahead of him too, but they're both end up being all-stars. Let's talk. Let's go back. Just step back 1 second. Let's go over the starters in the National League elected by the fans. Catcher's Buster Posey. We'll go around the horn here. Freeman at first. Adam Frazier from Pittsburgh at second. Nolan Arenado, your boy, at third. Tatis Jr. at short. And then in the outfield, you've got Acuna, Castellanos, and Winkler. Acuna, of course, Atlanta, then Winkler and Castellanos from Cincinnati. I thought that was absolutely perfect, and they got it right.
No, I agree. And the Cincinnati started winning and showing some excitement, and they're both putting up great years, and therefore the fans got behind them. I think that always is a big part of it. When people want to be engaged, they're following a team that's winning, that's exciting, and they're going to vote.
Let's go to the reserves now in the National League. Catcher JT Realmuto of the Phillies. At second, Ozzie Albies. Chris Bryant of the Cubs. Brandon Crawford of San Francisco. Jake Cronenworth, the second baseman from the Pods, mate. Cronenworth's had a pretty good first half.
Yeah, I thought that was a good pick.
Eduardo Escobar, who from Arizona, their lone guy, poor Diamondbacks. He's an all-star, but he could be traded before. Who knows? I think he's been talked about being traded for the last 2 weeks. Max Muncy,
Right.
deserving here from the Dodgers. Trey Turner. And then outfielders, Mookie Betts, Brian Reynolds from the Pirates, Schwarbs, Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, and Chris Taylor. Of course, Schwarber won't play either. He's injured, so though he'll get replaced as well. So we'll see what other outfielder they can put in there. Reserves on the American League side, Mike Zunino, Tampa Bay Rays, Jose Altuve, Bo Bichette, Carlos Correa at short, Matt Olson from the A's, Jose Ramirez, third baseman from the Indians, Jared Walsh from the Anaheim Angels, And then the outfield, you've got Michael Brantley from Houston, Joey Gallo, Adolis Garcia, and Cedric Mullins. And then DHs, J.D. Martinez, who was well-deserved, Nelson Cruz, and then Shohei Ohtani will all split there. So, great. It's going to be a fun game. Pitching-wise, National League-wise, American League-wise, anybody who you thought should be there that's not?
Not a whole lot. I mean, after going down the list again, I think it's a pretty solid selections there. I think the fans did it right for the most part, and the coaches are going to pick. They're going to favor their players, from their team. But you can't be mad at any of it, really.
No, I'm not. I don't think anything is wrong with the guys they picked. You look at that American League relief corps: Matt Barnes of Boston, Chapman in the Yankees, Liam Hendricks of the White Sox, Ryan Presley in Houston, and Gregory Soto of Detroit. That's a pretty good bullpen. I mean, you get through 5 innings, just throw those guys out for an inning apiece. You'll be all right.
Right.
The National League's not bad either with Hader, Kimbrel, Melanson, and Alex Reyes from your Cardinals. Reyes has got, I think, 19 of 20 in save opportunities or something like that?
Yeah, he's been solid.
So let's talk quickly. First half awards. Who's your MVP in both leagues?
Well, Ohtani, hands down in the American League. And in the National League, it's kind of a toss-up between Tatis and Arenado. I still think Arenado's going to have a big second half. Cardinals win the division, win the World Series. Boom.
Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a pipe dream waiting to happen. No, I do think that Arenado does have a big second half. I think the Cardinals actually may turn it on here as they get some pitching, if they make some moves, and could squander something of that. Don't worry, I don't think the Cubs have an MVP. I'm going to go with Ohtani, who's your world MVP, and I'll go Tatis Jr.
Yep.
Cy Young Awards first half. DeGrom in the National League, I think we both can agree on that.
Yeah, I agree.
And American League, I would go Shohei.
Yeah, I mean, it's, just give him the Triple Crown. Let him win. What if he won the Cy Young and the MVP? Or has anybody ever done that? I guess they have, haven't they?
Kershaw did it, didn't he?
But not in the same capacity,
right.
As far as
right.
Playing both sides of the ball. So, yeah, it's I 100% in agreement with you.
Then Rookie of the Year, it's kind of a toss-up there, too. There's a lot, but I like Chisholm from Miami as a Rookie of the Year in the National League, and then Adolis Garcia from Texas in the American League.
Yeah, you can't argue with Garcia for sure, and it's kind of tough to find. There's not a lot of competition in the National League in the rookie division. So,
well, all right,
have to agree with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got you all set up for the All-Star break. You've heard the rosters, you've heard the reserves, you've heard the home run derby. We'll take a quick break. We're going to make a call to the pen, and maybe we can get somebody to close out this show, because if I hire any of these guys that are in the relief course of the All-Star game, it's going to be all right. You're listening to Full Count here at DingerBats.com and a 103.5 ESPN Radio.
Today's episode of Full Count is brought to you by Bees Trees.
Bees Trees, your local ISA certified arborist with over 10 years experience, specializing in tree removal, tree trimming, and with free estimates. Call Greg Miller of Bees Trees today at 217-260-4551.
Closing up another edition of Full Count, an All-Star edition, as we take you through the first half of the regular season and into the All-Star break. We want to thank you for joining us this first half of the regular season on our first year here. We hope you've appreciated and listened to shows, and if you have enjoyed it, make sure you tell all your friends. And don't forget, you can download the shows at DingerBats.com or at Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, and all of your favorite downloadable devices. Kyle Drone, as we wrap things up, what's the most thing you're looking forward to this week besides the All-Star game?
Just all the festivities, the home run derby, and just a chance to sit back and watch some baseball. Actually, I just haven't got a chance to do that much lately.
That's all right. Everybody's keeping you busy, and I like when you stay busy. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm excited for the All-Star break and the festivities, the home run derby especially. I'll tune into it Monday night and watch it. So, all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to close up this show. We thank our sponsors. We thank you for listening in on us. Make sure you share the show and help us grow. Follow us on Facebook, Full Count the Podcast, and join our Facebook group. For my tag team partner, Kyle Drone, I am Keith Gibson. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the All-Star Game festivities. We will see you next Saturday morning for a new edition. Start the second half of Full Count. Have a great week, everybody.